Good day, traders. Today is Sunday, January 1st, 2023. Happy New Year. I hope everyone had an enjoyable and safe celebration last night. And I hope that for all of 2023, you have a fortuitous and prosperous investment strategy all year. In doing the analysis for oil, I wish I could say the same for oil and commodities. But I think we are looking at a mixed bag. I see some headwinds for the coming year. The analysis I did is in contrast to the gold and uranium analysis that I have previously done. Gold and uranium are on the cusp of a great 2023 year. But what I did was for 4 different stocks or ETFs, including futures: ExxonMobil, DBC Invesco Commodity Index, PDBC Diversified Commodity Strategy, and crude oil futures. And there are the results of my analysis, and we'll get into some details on each one of those. Exxon, I believe, is topping. It made all-time highs recently at 114.66, and I'm seeing some bearish divergence. Okay, DBC of the 4 could perhaps have the best chance of getting out of this potentially unscathed. It is already consolidated, and it is waiting to overtake its weekly EMA 50 line. Okay. More on that a little bit later. PDBC, oof, this one's a rough one. You're going to see some very unusual chart patterns. I'm not sure I would want to get in right now. There's a lot of selling pressure and a lot of unusual number of gap ups that come down. Okay, so more to come on that one. Crude oil futures at daily resistance. But it's at risk of potentially not being able to overtake the daily resistance and going back down to retest the monthly EMA 50 at support 71.64. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into ExxonMobil first. XOM, we are looking at the monthly on the left and the weekly on the right. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, this is the weekly on the left and the daily on the right. Okay, let's go ahead and let me zoom in here. All-time highs right here, 114.66. Notice the bearish divergence with the MACD. See that? That is bearish. That's going up. That's going down. So you'll also see. Here's the question that I have. Can XOM break RSI 80 again? This green line right there. It's going to be a binary question, yes or no. Because it had to break it here to get to the all-time highs. ATH? Can it do it again? Okay, that's an open question. I think this is a wait and see. I think if you try to get in now, you're going to have very, very limited upside, because of the all-time high I think it's going to be a formidable ceiling. Okay, I think it's going to be a formidable ceiling. Okay, so that's the weekly. When you look at the daily, okay, it's the daily. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, see, the daily is showing a similar pattern. Here's the all-time, when the RSI was at all-time highs, it was already showing some bearish divergence down here. See that? Starting to show it. By the time all-time highs even hit, the RSI was already starting to go down. But now, if you notice, it's hitting that 80 line and getting rejected. Hitting the 80 line, getting rejected. That's what I mean is the current level that it's at right now today, or as of close on Friday, is that going to be the next ceiling that it can't break, right? So that's basically where I'm at with ExxonMobil. Okay, DBC. This one has a chance. It has a chance of going up. Okay, so let's get into it. Here's the monthly chart. Drew in the monthly SMA 20 line, the monthly EMA 50 line right there. Okay. So on the monthly is just now crossing over underneath the signal line, the green signal line. See that? RSI down to 38. Okay, so this is the monthly. So, you know, it still looks like somebody's pushing it up, pushing it up above the gray line. Okay, the gray SMA 20 line right there. Okay, so that's the monthly. So let's zoom in a little bit more on the weekly. Here we go. Here, see that? Okay, so it's clearly not at risk of losing a support right here on the monthly SMA 20 at 23.23. Now, it is coming up against weekly EMA 24.69 right here. That's the line right here. It is coming up against that as resistance. Okay. So, since this is the weekly, this is starting to flatten out, which is good, better than going down. So we need to kind of see what happens here to wait and see. You're consolidated. You've been consolidating, and now you're at the 1 week EMA 50 resistance line. Okay. RSI 54. Okay. But for you to break that line, you got to get you have to pierce RSI 80 for you to break that line. Okay. So I would say watch out for that. Watch out for on the weekly chart, can DBC break EMA 50 24.69? Okay, that's what I think you should look for. This is the daily for DBC. Okay. Similar. So 24.69. So currently it's at 24.65. Yeah, 24.65. Yeah, see? It's coming up to the weekly EMA of 24.69. But also, that happens to coincide with the daily EMA 50. See what I mean? It's close. It's very close. So you're coming up on some major junction points now. Okay, it looks like you're finding support on the daily SMA 20 right here. You're finding support there, but boy, you got to break the weekly EMA 24.69 and the daily EMA right here. Okay. So let's kind of see, so I mean, these are positive signs, right? 67 on the daily, going up. But boy, for you to, for the daily to pierce this MACD 0 line, that means you also have to pierce EMA 50 lines on the weekly and the daily. So I guess let's see what happens. Let's wait and see, right? At least it's in position to make an attempt. Okay, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Let's just see if it can actually do it. Okay. Here's the 4-hour chart. This is good, right? See, I mean, these are signs that it's going to try. You're making higher lows. See that here on the 4-hour chart? This is good. Here's a 0 line going up. RSI 70, right? But remember, 80 is the magic number. You have to pierce it like you do here. You must pierce it in order to guarantee that or ensure that the daily and the weekly EMA 50s are taken, pierced. But also keep in mind, it's one thing to pierce it and go above it, but now you have to back test it, right? It's got to have a successful back test. Piercing it and going above it, which is what is it? Poking your head through it, doesn't count. It's the back test that counts. So it has to successfully back test 24.69 on the weekly EMA. Okay. So that is basically it for let's see, do I have the hourly? Yes, I do. Okay. So once again, it's RSI 74. This is the 1 hour for DBC. 74. Okay. See, you notice how consistently, it's coming right up to the line, and then it's kind of backing away. See what I mean? Backing away, backing away from the 80 line. So this is wait and see. This is wait and see for DBC. All right. PDBC. Okay, I'm going to show you on the 1 hour chart. Like, wow, I've never seen it so animated. Okay, so here's the monthly. You probably have seen that big red candle by now. If you follow PDBC, huge red candle because this is a big old gap down, which is right here on the 1 weekly chart right here. Huge gap down. See, boom, gap down. Okay, so the monthly it's clearly on the downswing, right? Clearly on the downswing, hitting. Oh man, I think ultimately, it's tough to predict. It's going down for sure. It's going down. Look at that RSI being 18. Yikes! Yikes! I think based on this current pattern and then based on what I saw on the 1 hour charts, I think it's going lower. Okay, I think it's going lower. It's gonna go down. It's gonna get into this red zone like down in here. Okay. So the 1 week chart. Again, see that? I mean, that's not good. You're below the zero line, and you're separating from the signal line, and you're creating more distance. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. RSI 16. See, those are not encouraging signs. Okay, here's the here's the daily. There's a big gap down. So, it is trying to flatten out and curl up. It is trying to do that because it's at a critical junction point between the previous pivot point right here. It's basically equal. So that's what it's trying to it's trying to make a last stand before a potential next leg down. Okay? RSI 58. So it is trying to flatten out and trying to go up right now. I'll give it that because it has to. Here's the critical point. See that? Are you going to make a lower low or are you going to make a higher low? What are you going to do? Okay, so that's the daily. Now here's the 4 hour chart. Okay, yeah, here's the huge gap down. Big old gap down. Just be wary that I think this rising wedge, we're looking at a potential rising bear flag. Rising wedge bear flag. Okay, you're going to see in the next slide what I'm talking about. Like, whoa. Even though on the 4 hour chart, it looks like it's coming back up. It's separating from the signal line here. It's trying to get back to the zero line. RSI 75 on the 4 hour chart. But keep in mind, like we saw with SPY the last couple of weeks, it doesn't mean just because it's heading toward the zero line that it's going to pierce the zero line. It can head right up to the zero line, get rejected, and come back down. Okay, so that's exactly, in fact, SPY created 2 humps right at the zero line in the last couple of weeks. 2 humps, 2 4 hour humps. Got rejected both times. Hump 1, rejected at the zero line, come back down. Hump 2, rejected at the zero line, come back down. Okay, so keep that in mind. That's 4 hour chart. Here's the interesting 1 hour chart. PDBC. I can say unequivocally I have not seen a more animated chart than PDBC. And I might just share this in my general episodes during the week. Okay, I have never seen so many consecutive gap ups and failures as you're seeing now with PDBC. Okay, I mean, they're all notated right there. Where I'm circling are the failures of the back tests. Okay, so every circle is a back test failure of the EMA 50 line on the 1 hour chart. Okay, and that leads us right through Friday. As of Friday, look at that. It's like a perfect conclusion to end the year, right? Just a doji indecision candle. Look at that. Big wick down, big wick from the top, big wick from the bottom. Doji indecision to end the year. Uh, I would err on the side of caution here. Look at all these gaps ups and push big red candles down. And if you didn't get a big red candle down, you got a big wick down, right? Like right here. Okay, so I would err on the side of caution. I think this is a rising bear flag that we're going lower. PDBC is going lower. Okay. So you notice this. I mean, it's just flatlining right at the 78 line. You can't pierce the 80 line. Can't pierce it. Okay. What you would need to look for if it's going to successfully backtest the EMA 50 on this 1 hour chart, you need to look for this blue arrow to come down, hit the EMA, bounce off the top of it, ideally. Technically, you could probably consolidate underneath of it and then still overtake it. You probably could. You could do that too. Okay, so that is my assessment of PDBC. At this point, I would neither short nor go long. Just let it play out. Let it play out. Um, yeah. Okay. Crude oil futures. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, here's the 1 month right here on the left-hand side. It's wedging right in between the 1 month SMA 20, 1 month EMA 50. 85.77, 71.64. Okay? You're in it. You are wedged now. Okay? Yeah, I mean, look at that's the monthly, that's the MACD. You know, that's generally not encouraging to see that. You've lost momentum crossing below the signal line. Now you're separating from that, and it doesn't look like you're trying to flatten out. The only way you can kind of start flattening out is over the course of a few months. You're gonna need to hold EMAs. This is the critical line, 71.64, the 1 month EMA right there. That's crude oil futures. That's the magic number, 71.64. You start messing around underneath of it, you start losing it. And I'm going to show you, I think it's actually on the weekly. Yeah, the weekly is a hint that there might be trouble in paradise, right? Okay. I'll show that to you in a second, but see RSI 31. Yeah, see, that's not encouraging, right? 31, you're below the 50 line. You know, if you're in the 50s, okay, well, you're probably just going sideways for a little bit, but no, you're in the 30s. You're in the low 30s, okay? All right. All right, let's check out, this is the 1 week here. Okay, yeah. Here is first sign of trouble. Technically, that candle straddled the monthly EMA 50 71.64. That's a problem. And I'm gonna show you on the next slide, the daily confirmed it. I was like, well, maybe well, we'll see. It could be a fluke. But the daily confirmed it. Okay? Now, here's what I want you to look for. Here's the monthly gray line, 85.77. But watch to see if crude oil futures can't even overtake its weekly SMA 20 of 83.76. This line right here. Slightly lower than the monthly SMA 20. If crude oil futures starts to find resistance at 83.76, then that's your hint that it's respecting the weekly SMA 20, and that it may not be. That's a warning shot. That's a warning shot that you're going lower. If now you can't even take back your weekly SMA 20 at 83.76, okay? What did we close at? 80.51. Yeah. So I would watch for 83.76. Okay. You can't take that. Chances are you're going lower than. Ultimately, if you get rejected at 83.76, you're gonna probably go lower than 71.64. The monthly EMA 50. because you've already shown warning signs. You've already shown it that you couldn't close a weekly candle above 71.64. You straddled it. So that's a warning shot. Just like all of these straddles right here like this, it's a warning shot. What happened ultimately failed, right? This, well, that's a huge warning shot. Yeah, you failed, right? So that's what I mean. Like, yeah. So those are examples of warning shots. We got some warnings now. Okay. Hope that makes sense. The MACD, okay, the weekly, you're trying to curl back up. I expect that, but here's the problem though. You're making lower lows here. This is a lower low than that. This is just an attempt like this. I just wonder if you're going to get this. Come up, hit resistance, rejected from the MACD signal line, like this, just like that. I wonder if the same thing's going to happen. That's what I mean. The same thing will happen. You're going to get the exact same scenario of MACD line coming up, getting rejected by the signal line, if it can't even. See that? If you get rejected by 83.76, the weekly SMA 20, right here. So let's just call that a centimeter on the screen. Yeah, we'll just call it a centimeter. See, you're about a centimeter away from the signal line too. So in this case, the MACD screen signal line is equivalent to the weekly SMA 20 line, 83.76. All eyes on that. Let's just see what happens. I can't tell you what's going to happen. Okay? So keep your eye on that. That's the weekly. Let's get into the daily. Yes. Here we go. Here's what I want to show you. See right there? There's your warning shot. Two daily candles straddled the line. Okay? And yeah, we'll just have to see. See, now you're at resistance on the daily, right? You are at resistance now. That's 80.5. So, and even if you surpass 80.5, the daily EMA 50, now you have the weekly SMA 20 to contend with. See what I mean? So, yeah, there's some headwinds here. There are some headwinds here. And, speaking generally, overtaking the EMA 50 for any commodity, not just oil futures, any commodity, or any stock or ETF. That's a tall ask. That's a tall order. Okay? So, and just the fact that the RSI, you still got a ways to go before you get to the zero line, and you're already at the daily EMA 50 resistance line. Yeah. And you notice here? You notice the RSI keeps getting rejected at the 80 line. See that? That's what I mean. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. We got some headwinds here. See? So, yeah, just gotta wait and see. So that's basically my analysis on the four areas. I think oil is in a much different and almost opposite position than uranium and gold. So, but I wouldn't say short oil either, because you know what I mean. Because I wouldn't. I would say short it. Boy, if you start falling below 71.64 monthly EMA 50, you start falling below this, perhaps short it. Perhaps. I think oil is a kind of a tricky bird. I'm not sure if I would even be messing with it right now. Call long or short. See what I mean? Because you could have looks like you have headwinds to the upside. And, OPEC, they might step in and say, oh, we're not going to let it go down below 71.64, right? They could just step in, right? So, that's my analysis. Hope all of that makes sense. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, please do so. I give more real-time tweets during the daytime, during the trading day. Please give it a like, share, subscribe, or click to be notified. And with that, I am Agent 000, signing off.